Welcome back, everyone. I'm Setharoth, and today we're diving into a wonderful showcase for the mod Wintersun. This one has taken me a while to figure out because Wintersun adds in a number of extra mechanics, just as kind of a reminder to her we're taking my Necromancer for a spin, so we'll probably have to use Make Way for Your Lord a lot when we're hopping from place to place. But the fun part of Wintersun is, as you noticed in my Necromancer playthrough, you can become a follower of a deity, which gives you a couple different perks and buffs. The reason why it's so hard to do in a showcase is there's 50 different deities, and they each have unique powers, but your favor has to be high enough in order to unlock the main reason for using them. Like Mannimarco, you have to pray to him at a certain time of day, which it is currently not, to raise your favor, and once it's high enough, you can get a fun little bonus here where your undead conjured at night lasts 150% longer. And then once you're high enough, when you become a devotee, your allied conjured undead not only do more damage, but regenerate health. So there's a lot just for Mannimarco to boost your Necromancer, but there's 49 other deities, and I couldn't figure out how to do it all in one showcase. So what we're going to be doing is I found a couple of locations that will give you 75% of all the deities you have the option of worshipping.
Being old's not so bad.
So the first place we're going to start is the Temple of Solitude. This allows you access to the Divines. These are 8 deities. Now technically 9. There's a little bit of one missing there for political reasons. But this gives you 8 starting deities that you can add to your playthrough via Wintersun. So the first one we're going to look at is Akatoash. Akatoash is the dragon god of time. As father of dragons, he represents beginning and end. If you are a follower of Akatoash, you will have improved attacks and spells against dragons. Now each deity has tenets. That means they're the do's and don'ts of the religion. It's the ways that you gain favor, and also the ways that you might lose favor or kick you out. So in this guy's case, you do the main quest line, fulfilling your destiny to save Tamriel, raise your character level, absorb dragon souls, and never openly break the laws of Skyrim. Now, this is a good example of the Divines, because the Divines, if you're just starting Wintersun, any of the Divines is a good start. They're available to anyone, of any race, any alignment, technically. They gain favor slowly, but their only real limitation is that they don't like it when you perform crimes. Other than that, they're great to start with. They have some unique bonuses when you get up to devotee that can be very helpful, but usually for specific playthroughs. I think of them as like the easy deities to follow. So if you're just starting with Wintersun, stick with one of the Divines, because you're less likely to drastically lose favor or do something wrong, unless you have a habit of breaking the laws of Skyrim. But there are other deities for that. So obviously Akatoash is your anti-dragon deity. Highly recommend using him if you're trying to do the main quest line, or if you're adding in, for example, Thunderchild, you planning on killing a lot of dragons, this would be a good deity to add on. Keep in mind, when you get to Devoted, so when you have over 100% favor from Akatoash, you will actually get a devotee power that resets the shout and most recently used power of your character. So for example, when you use your shout, your standard Unrelenting Force has a 45-second cooldown. If you are a devotee of Akatoash, you can flip a little button and that goes away. So you would then be able to use 2 shouts before you're restricted by a cooldown. That is particularly cool for Thunderchild, because there are some crazy shouts that you really should only be able to use once a minute. And with this puppy in play, that is no longer a limit. So another one we can look at, let's see, where is our ever wonderful Stendarr? Nope, that's Kinnereth. Okay, there we are. So another one is Stendarr. Stendarr is the god of mercy and justice, patron of holy knights and the Imperial Legion. If you are a follower of Stendarr, it will reduce the damage you take from Daedra and Undead.
The divines are listening.
Okay, this NPC is going to bug me. Alright, so the tenets for Stendarr: clear dungeons of evil, slay Daedra and the undead, complete side quests, never openly break the laws of Skyrim, and never practice the foul summoning arts. So the only real downside of Stendarr, aside from the no crime thing, he doesn't like it when you use conjuration magic to conjure, particularly Daedra. Yeah, I'm not sure if that also includes raising undead, but you get the idea. I will say that just the reduced damage alone is significant, because I've done most of the quest mod Vigilant, which is like all Daedra and undead, and having this guy as my deity really helped. Like, the damage reduction is significant. So this is a deity that you could use if you are pushing through Dawnguard, for example, and you're going to be fighting a lot of vampires. This one would be very helpful. Also, when you get Stendarr up to devoted status, you'll get a power that you can use that will raise your attack, defense, and healing for either 5 minutes or 3 battles, whichever one comes first. So this is a fun one for like a cleric playthrough, because you will literally feel like you're channeling divine power, and your character will literally glow like a freaking angel as you dive into battle and do extra damage, take less damage, and heal for a greater percentage than you would without the might of Stendarr backing you up. Another one we can consider is Mara. Let's see, where does she run off to? It's Bella, Akatoash, Julianos. There we go. Alright, so Mara is a good choice for a support type character. If you are gathered a group of followers and you're taking on like a bard-like role where you're trying to support and empower them, Mara is the divine mother of agriculture, fertility, and compassion, and mother cat to the Khajit. As a follower, you can pray, and she will remove diseases and poisons. So this can be useful, particularly if you're out in the wild and you're getting hit with all those nasty diseases the animals give you when they bite you. Or if you're using a mod like I Need and Realistic Diseases that make diseases a lot more deadly, she could then be very helpful during that, because you have a quick and easy way to alleviate the pains of those particular maladies. The tenets, this is an interesting one. You need to be married, own 1 or more houses, be generous to beggars and children, receive the blessing of lovers' comfort. You get that by spending the night with your spouse, and never openly break the laws of Skyrim. So with this one, just an easy way to remove diseases and poisons, and that's by praying. So if you're in combat and you're like fighting a Chaurus and it spits on you and you're dying of poison, it won't quite work because you'll have to pray, which means getting on your knees, which makes you an easy target. This is definitely something that you use outside of combat. Just make that clear. But when you reach devoted status with Mara, you can heal living allies within 40 feet with power that she gets. So you get an extra like team healing ability once you get over 100% favor with Mara. So she's a good, if you're trying to build like a support character, that's really helpful. And then last but not least, where is Zenithar? No, that's okay. Akatoash, Bella, Kinnereth. There we go. So Zenithar, our Forge Master, god of work and commerce, worshipped by traders, nobility, and craftsmen. Alright, so this guy is awesome for crafting. Alright, he will improve your crafting skills, and you'll be able to learn those skills faster. For him, he likes it when you invest in stores and merchants, seek out skill training, make weapons and armor, never openly break the laws of Skyrim. He also will go up if you're raising any of your crafting skills. So I've actually used Zenithar. Let me get some distance from this chick. I'm just getting loud. So with Zenithar, you can actually get... I've been using him in my Treasure Hunter playthrough, and it's been really fun because obviously that requires a lot of enchanting, and he's power leveling that very well. The fun thing about Zenithar is when you get up to devoted status and you pray to him, it actually opens up a store. So you'll have access to a merchant at any time, any place, and it really speeds things along, particularly if you're doing a treasure hunter type playthrough that has all this loot that you don't want to cart all the way back before you go back into the dungeon. So it's a fun one. We'll get to see that a lot more in my current treasure hunter playthrough. Anyway, so this is where you find the divines for Wintersun, aside from Talos, but you can find Talos right at the heart of Whiterun. That works out pretty good. Next, we're going to hop over here. Alright, next we're going to look at the next set of deities, which are the Elven deities. There's a lot of deities. Like I said, Wintersun has 50 of them. And there are a number of deities that are kind of sprinkled throughout the area. So for example, I wonder if I can find one. Well, I mean, there's obviously like the Shrine of Azura, right? Obviously, that's where you go to worship Azura, and she is one of the deities that's available. But most deities will have specific shrines sprinkled throughout Skyrim. What I've done for the Wintersun showcase is track down where the groups are. So for example, if we go to the Temple of the Ancestors, we'll find a shrine that is devoted to all of the Elven deities. Elven deities are interesting because they're kind of neutral in alignment. So a lot of them don't mind if you're performing crimes. These are all of our Elven deities. Auriel, if you remember that one, that's from the Dawnguard questline. So Auriel is the first one we're going to have a look at. Abandoning the mortal world was a mistake. The king of the gods challenges his elven children to attain perfection and regain their lost divinity. If you are a follower of Auriel, you can learn all skills faster. The tenets of Auriel are do the main quest line, master all your skills, so building up your skill level, becoming her champion at the Sacred Chantry, which is done in the Dawnguard quest line, I believe. High elves are most deserving of my favor. So this is one of the interesting catches of Wintersun, and this is why the Elven ancestors are a little tougher than the divines, because some of them are race related, race preferred, right? If you're a high elf, you can actually start the game worshipping Auriel rather than having to go find an altar. And also, if you're a high elf, your favor is going to raise faster, which is interesting because if you combine this with Imperius, which is a race mod of the same mod author, high elves get a boost when a character gets to level 100. That skill gets a boost. And if you are serving Auriel and you get a skill up to 100, that skill also gets a boost. So it kind of stacks. It's interesting how he built that. Keep in mind, Auriel is available for any character. It's just it prefers high elves, so it'll take longer to gain favor with Auriel than it would if you were a high elf, because this guy's currently a Breton. Once you get Auriel up to devotee status, then any skill at level 100 gains an additional boost. So when you get up to level 100, particularly if this character was also a high elf, you could get 20, 30, maybe even 40% bonus on whatever skill is currently at level 100. So this is definitely an endgame deity. One fun thing about Wintersun is you can change deities as much as you want, right? So I could start with Zenithar to raise up my enchanting skills and my crafting and my alchemy. And then once they got near 100, I could switch to Auriel, finish leveling them up to 100, and then get the devotee status from her that would raise all of my level 100 skills by an additional percentage. So you can kind of juggle different deities in order to create different kind of builds or to make different quest lines a little easier or a little more interesting. So next we're looking for Magnus. If you have done any wizard related quests through the College of Winterhold, you might recognize Magnus. There we go. The architect of creation, Magnus left the sun in his wake, through which magic enters the world. As a follower of Magnus, spells will cost less magicka, but magicka only regenerates while praying. Oh, this is one I haven't had the guts to test yet. I like this deity because it makes things feel a bit more like Dungeons and Dragons, where you have a certain number of spell slots and you get them back on a rest. But in this case, you would just have to pray after every battle to regenerate your magicka. But it does make your spells cost less, so you wouldn't be running into battle, if you're starting out on a regular playthrough with destruction magic and you can only cast 3 firebolts before you're out of magicka. You might look at that and say, well, that's not happening. That's ridiculous. But it does come with a spell cost reduction, so you might have 6 firebolts instead of 3 by the time you run out of magicka. And I mean, you can pray after each encounter if you needed to, so it's not entirely. You can make it work. Plus, if you combined it with there's a standing stone that gives you more magicka every time you kill an opponent. So if you were to combine these two, then you would be able to you would have a decreased magicka cost. You'd get magicka when you kill bad guys, and you'd be able to regenerate in between combats by praying if necessary. I'm pretty sure those 2 effects stack, but I haven't tested it out myself yet. I haven't made like a D&D friendly playthrough yet, but it is on my list. Anyway, the tenets for Magnus are practice magic successfully while praying, so you can cast spells as you're praying, I believe. Safeguard the Eye of Magnus, that's the College of Winterhold questline, and create enchanted items. So as long as you're working on your enchanting skill, you can boost Magnus's appreciation of you, which will increase the percentage by which your spell cost is reduced. And then also, when you become a devotee for Magnus, when you pray, you automatically cast the beneficial self-targeted spells in your hands for no magicka, and they last a certain amount of percent longer. So basically, if I were to cast, this is my lich, I forgot. So let's see, so it's a beneficial self-targeted spell. So you would just make sure, for example, that you always had stone flesh prepared when you slept, and then it would automatically cast stone flesh on you when you prayed. When you prayed, not when you sleep, but when you prayed, you would automatically cast stone flesh on you without any magicka cost. So as long as it's a beneficial self-targeted spell, you would be able to just recast that automatically when you prayed. So if you prayed before combat to regenerate your magicka, you would also be adding armor to yourself, which is nice because with my treasure hunter playthrough, it's going to be a while before he actually learns Akatal's recital and can automatically cast spells. So if I were to do Magnus and train up my favor, I would then at least be able to auto cast my armor before going into combat without, all I'd have to do is raise enough favor with this guy to make it work. So definitely a fun challenge if you want to change it up with your mage and make him much more resting reliant. Next we have Phynaster. Yep, there we go. So Phynaster is the ancestor god of Somerset. He taught his people to live longer by using a shorter stride. I don't know what that means. As a follower, you will have faster regeneration when standing still and slower regeneration when moving. The tenets for this guy are explore new locations, find the standing stones of Skyrim, harvest the fruits of nature. Bretons are most deserving of my favor. So this is another racially preferred example. The nice thing about this guy is with Imperius, the Bretons actually come with a racial quest to find all, I believe it's 10 standing stones. Once they find 10 standing stones, they get a bonus. So if you were to combine these two, you could not only empower your Breton with better standing stone abilities, but you would also raise the tenets of this deity. Faster regeneration when standing still could definitely benefit archers or casters, maybe even melee types if you were, if you had block and you're just waiting for them to come to you. But I run a lot of combat mods, so the slower regeneration when moving is that hurts. But that's specifically because of the mod load order I'm running. On a regular playthrough without my combat mods, that might not hurt so much. So Phynaster is obviously a great choice when you are exploring new locations. I have a mod right now on my treasure hunter playthrough that gives me experience when I find new locations. So I could combine that with Phynaster and actually gain favor while I'm also gaining experience. With Phynaster, once you are a devotee, during prayer you may teleport back to the last location where you prayed. So Phynaster is an interesting one because it actually gives you a form of teleportation. So you pray before going into a dungeon, and then once you beat the boss, you pray and you immediately teleport out of the dungeon, which I think is a great approach. It streamlines your playthrough, and you feel like you've... That seems like a really good bonus that you could get from a deity that was based on travel, right? That works. I really like that. Next, I wanted to show you guys Trinimac. There you are. Trinimac, oh, here we go. Only accepts high elves, wood elves, and orcs. So Trinimac is an example of one of these deities that is very racially specific. He does not like Bretons. There we go. I had to get out my little lantern. Anyway, so with Trinimac, I obviously cannot get a look at what he requires, but I have a cheat sheet here for his devotee ability. So Trinimac is designed for two-handed characters. He enhances your two-handed combat. As a devotee, when you pray, you may become ethereal and invulnerable until your next attack. So with Trinimac and a two-handed build, you would, if you were up against mages, for example, or even a dragon, you would pray, which makes you invulnerable, and then you would be invulnerable until they got into melee range, at which point you could start the party. So that could be useful for melees both against mages and dragons, because it allows you to close the distance between them and you know, let them have it without getting hit, at least until you get into melee range. And ideally, if you're a two-handed player, once they're in melee range, that's it. Okay, so that's a good one for melee types. Now, where can I find Zen? We're gonna find us a Zen. Should be around here somewhere. We've got Xarxes, Trinimac. Did I already go in a circle? Maybe I missed one. Or maybe he's not here. Maybe this doesn't have all the elven gods. I guess not. Interesting. Okay. So I still don't regret showing you guys this place, because obviously you can pick up, like, you can have 7 or 8 deities to pick from here. But there's another elven ancestor called Zen, and you'll have to find him yourself. Each one of these have individual ritual sites, shrines around Skyrim. This is just one of the best locations that has them all, you know, stacked together. But with Zen, when you gain a devotee with Zen, you actually get basically a bag of holding. You have unlimited extra dimensional storage space when you pray. It opens up like a container in which you can store everything. So that's another good one for that kind of a playthrough when you're far from home with lots of loot and you can't quite make it back to where you need to be. This Rudy EMB is really nice. I like it. Not to mention wearable lanterns. That's cool. Alright, so that was your divines and your elven ancestors. Next we're going to find, let's see, so next is the Yucatan Pantheon, which is south of Rorikstead. Okay, that should be... There we go. Alright, so these are Redguard deities. They don't mind if you commit crimes, like the elven ancestors. So if you're doing a not necessarily really good aligned... I like my little walking platoon. Anyway, so if you're not doing a good aligned playthrough, you're doing a thief or a villain, that is an option. Alright, so this is 5 Redguard based deities. We're going to start with Leki. Leki. Ah, here we are. Leki does not accept those who are not of Redguard blood. Okay. Yeah, that, I bet none of these will actually even talk to my bread. Nope. Okay, so if you're going to do a Redguard playthrough, you've got 5 options here. I'll just give you the... I got a list of their devoted abilities, so we're still good. One of these is Leki. Leki is specifically to enhance light melee combat. When you become a devotee of Leki, you will gain increased melee damage for 10 minutes or 5 battles whenever you activate your devoted power. So extra melee damage. Another one, let's see, that was Leki. There's Tall Papa. It's another one. This is for enhancing weapon enchanters. If you get up to devoted status, then when you die, you will enter an ethereal ascended state. If combat ends within a certain amount of seconds, it will bring you back to life. So I really like this one for a melee type character, because if you die, you don't resurrect automatically, but you have a certain amount of time in which you become invulnerable and you finish the fight. if you can finish the fight within that time, you're good, right? You're good. But if you can't finish the fight by the time the clock runs down, then you die. So it's like a chance to escape death, but only if you're a good enough fighter. So I really like that. That's a cool way to handle death, if that makes any sense and doesn't sound kind of weird. I also wanted to show you guys the HoonDing, that's over here. I call him the Stagger King. So if you're going to create a character that focuses mostly on staggering your opponents, as a devotee of HoonDing, you'll have a certain % chance to resist stagger from attacks and bashes. So you become immune to stagger, and I believe when you are first following him, he gives you enhancements to your stagger, but don't quote me on that because he won't actually talk to non-red guards. So keep that in mind. This location is south of Rorikstead. If you are a red guard, you can start near Rorikstead, hobble on over here, pick your deity. Actually, you could probably pick any of these deities by just starting as a red guard. It's one of the menus that pop up when you start a new game. Your race will be able to pick whatever deities are initially available for that race. Alright, so the red guard deities are a lot like the elves. Obviously, they're race specific, and they come with their own tenets. They don't mind crimes, so you can do like a neutral or even an evil type character without any issue. So that is our red guard deities, elven deities, and the divines. Now we're going to get to some of the more dark stuff. So first off, you have Daedra. So all of the Daedra can be worshipped, but unfortunately, no one actually puts together a collection. You know, the Temple of the Ancestors is like all the elven shrines in one spot. Yeah, no one does that for Daedra. I wonder why, right? So obviously one shrine, one Daedra that you can easily find is the Shrine of Azura. You don't even have to finish her quest line. You can just go to the shrine, talk to her. You know, I might as well just show you. It just makes sense. I wasn't going to give her a spotlight, but I've got 3 other Daedra I wanted to walk you through. I might as well start with her. Hopefully I can avoid the NPC. It's nice when I'm running with my Necromancer, because combat starts, it's like, I'll let my platoon of undead handle it. Alright, so here's our Shrine of Azura. She's a big one. So she is the Prince of, he is the Prince of Dusk and Dawn, creator of the goddess of the Khajit and the Dark Elves. The interesting thing when you are a follower of this Daedra is all nearby foes will become weak to magic. So if you're using magic, obviously this will help. The tenets are trap souls in my name. This is not a good deity. Explore new locations. Pray only at twilight, preferably outside. Dark elves and those skilled in illusion are most deserving of my favor. So the Daedra is an example. It's trickier to gain their favor. For example, this one you have to pray at a specific time and outside. And obviously you gotta be trapping yourself a lot of souls. If you're raising your illusion skill, that helps too. But it takes a bit to... the Daedra are more specific in what you have to actually do and when you have to actually pray in order to earn their favor. But if you become devoted from Azura, you will be able to spend some favor points to give you, I believe it's extra magic resist. So if you're up against a ton of mages, for example, or something particularly big and nasty. Alright, what's going on here? Come on. Who dares deal with the... You know what? I might as well just deal with whatever's over here. I think it's just a couple of... Yep, it's just some doggies. And you're done. There we go. What's life without a little bit of lichdom? Okay, so that's the Azura. There's also Clavicus Vile is another Daedra that's pretty interesting. I've already cleared out Haymar's Shame, so we should be able to just run in super quick and take a look at the requirements for Clavicus Vile. I wish I had a teleportation spell because there's a back entrance to this dungeon that I can't access. However, I do have increased movement speed in the Lich, so I should be able to run through this pretty quickly. There we go. That was weird. Alright, fingers crossed there's no one else that this hasn't respawned since I cleared it. Alright, so let's see. What else can I tell you? So there's another Daedra that I really like. But he is tucked in the middle of Felgo Keep, which I haven't actually cleared yet. So there might not be time to actually check him out. But what you do is you kill the bad guys, obviously. You'll get into a room with a large conjuration circle. It's a 5-pointed star with petty gems in each one. And there's a Book of Oblivion. It's on the Oblivion Crisis. When you read the book, you will have the option of accepting Hermaeus Mora as your deity. He is available to any race, and one of the reasons why he is my favorite is because he adds in a new loot base. You will collect pages of the Eldritch lore, and the more pages you collect, the more permanent buffs you get, and the buffs are permanent. Like, you can switch deities and still enjoy the buffs. So I highly recommend Hermaeus Mora for any magic playthrough, because that is how those are done. Where is the... Ooh. Alright, activate Shrine to Clavicus Vile. Does not accept those who have not served him. Okay, so this is an example of a Daedra that is quest specific. You'll have to actually go to Falkreath and deal with the talking dog. That is all. I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but yeah, if you want to start the quest line that allows you to serve Clavicus Vile, you will have to actually deal with the talking dog in Falkreath. That's all the hints I will give you. Now, with Clavicus, to gain favor with him, he gives you packs. So they're like mini quests. For example, I know one of them is kill like 10 animals inside a certain amount of minutes. So you will pray to him, start a pact, perform the pact, and get like a buff, extra favor, that kind of thing. When you get to devoted status with Clavicus Vile, you will be able to spend favor in order to permanently gain a perk point. Yes, he will enhance your perks. He will give you more perks. That is a Daedra that gives you more perks. That is awesome. By the way, if you ever go with Hermaeus Mora, when you burn favor with him, you gain skill levels. So whatever you're trying to power level, if you're at level 95 in destruction and it takes forever to level up, you can just use favor from Hermaeus Mora and level up your skills. Alright, so yeah, let's go ahead and have a look. There's a couple Khajit Deities. We're going to look at one of those real quick. That is Altar to Rajhin. Rajhin is a deity for the Khajit. If you're starting off a Khajit character, you'll have the option of picking Rajhin. He is definitely a deity that is designed to help thieves. And if I am not mistaken, yep, he does. He only goes with Khajits. However, when you attain devoted status as a Khajit for Rajhin, you can pray to Rajhin and he'll break any lock within 20 feet of you. It doesn't work on unpickable locks because those are like quest related, so they actually require keys. But he will break master level locks if it is possible to pick them. So that could even be useful if you're doing like a melee character or a mage character and you don't want to bother with a lot of lock picking stuff. You can just pick this deity and use his power to open locks and you're good. Alright, we've got a couple left. There's a ton of miscellaneous deities. There's at least a dozen. By miscellaneous, I mean they don't really fall under any specific theme or type. They're all just very unique with very unique powers and abilities and stuff. So for example, I'll show you guys Mannimarco. If you're familiar with my Necromancer playthrough, this will be, well, familiar. But Mannimarco, you can pray right at the shrine. He includes a, I wonder if I can grab his tenants real quick. So, oh yeah, duh, I forgot. Each of these 50 deities comes with their own blessing. So not only do you get your follower bonus and your devoted bonus when you have a high enough favor, you also get their blessing. I keep forgetting about that. So as a follower of Mannimarco, your undead lasts longer when cast at night. As a devotee, your allied conjured undead do more damage and regenerate health. There we go. So the tenets, you have to trap souls. You only pray at night. Never accept Arcay's blessing. Oh, I must have lost some favor there, because I technically got blessed by Arcay when I was... Oh, no, I didn't. I didn't use the Arcay altar when I was at the Divines, so that was a lucky thing. And if you're skilled in Conjuration, then he'll also give you more favor. So this is obviously a great one for necromancers. If you plan on raising corpses, this is your guy. There's also another one that is for thieves. I feel like I haven't done a lot of thief-based deities, so we're going to hop over to our last location, altar to Baan Dar. Can't fast travel when enemies are nearby. Enemies are nearby, but I'm not in combat. That's just lovely. Well, actually, let's try heading back over to the... a lot of these shrines are close to each other. You have to be careful when you combine Wintersun with Thunderchild, because every deity will have their own shrine. So that's 50 shrines added to the world, give or take. And then every... there's a unique location for every Thunderchild shout to further enchant it. So if you add those two, your world map will fill up pretty quickly. There we go. Alright, now we can travel. So we're going to check out Baan Dar. This is a miscellaneous deity that has a certain bonus for thieves. Hopefully we will be able to check out his tenants. Nope, he's only available for Khajit and Wood Elves. Okay. But he has a devotee power where you put skooma into someone's inventory. So you like pick their pocket, put skooma into their inventory, and then pray to Baan Dar, and he will ignite them with any of them within 200 feet for a certain amount of damage. So if you're out of poison, you can put skooma in someone's inventory, pray from stealth, and it will immolate them. So just a fun little thief type build, and there's like another dozen of these unique deities that you can decide to play with. So there's 50 deities in total, each with their unique blessings, follower bonus, and devoted bonus once you get up to over 100% favor. Some of them are race specific. I'm a Breton, so I can't access them all. Technically, no race can access them all. But there are a lot of options. And yeah, so if you are going to go for... Probably my favorite is Hermaeus Mora, simply because the buffs that he gives you are permanent. So you could start a playthrough with Hermaeus Mora, fully unlock all of the buffs he has to offer, and then just go on to another deity, and you get to keep your buffs. Most of the deities that give you buffs and enhancements, you'll lose them when you change your loyalties, but that is not the case with Hermaeus Mora. And let's see, I'm running out of time. I don't know. You know what? I would like to show you guys the tenants for Hermaeus Mora, just so you can see. It's a little. You can easily overlook him if you don't know where to find his book. So I'm actually going to go into God mode real quick and just run to his section. Use my little lich mode because that just makes it faster. If I can get past a frickin' door. Am I too tall to go through a door? Or it might be I have skellies involved. Yeah, okay, we'll go in on foot. We're going on foot. It's fine. It's fine. I'm in God mode. We're good. Oh, let me just... one of the bugs with the travel lantern is if you shapeshift into a different form, it unequips your light source. So that can be annoying. But we're in God mode anyway, so I'm just going to literally run through this dungeon until we get to Hermaeus Mora so that I can show you guys what his tenants are like. Simply because he's my favorite. He's a very nasty deity. Obviously, you can become friends with him, so to speak, by following the main quest line. There's a section where you actually use him. Well, serve him, I guess, when you're trying to unlock certain things. Plus, this will be a fun little experiment to see how long it takes, how many admirers we can gather during our sprinting session. Just going to run on through here, please. Excuse me. Just need to show people a new deity. Alright, so we're going to have to run up here. I believe there's one more load door, which will be good, because you have to take out the guys in the room carefully, or you will never find the book that gives you his abilities. Alright, let's see. Alright, we still being hunted? I can't tell. Probably. Okay, death clouds it is. Alright, are you guys all still... Let me just take care of you. And take care of you. Very good. And I hope this doesn't lose me. Alright, so you see that book on the altar? Don't lose that. So if you're using like Fireball or something, you might knock that off the location, knock that away, and then that kind of sucks. Actually, you know what? Let's just, oh, well, there we go. Wait, why did I? There we are. All right, this will speed things along for us. We good? There we go. Okay, so, all right, there we are. Doors of Oblivion. You read the book, put down the book. That should have worked. I hear him. That's his throating sound. Huh, okay. If you're doing a regular playthrough, you read the book, his tendons will pop up. He's very forgiving. You just have to find a lot of pages that show up in loot on monsters' inventories, and then they give you permanent buffs, and it's a lot of fun. But maybe because I'm already with Mannimarco, I can't just hop over to a new deity. That's annoying. Anyway, so that's where to get that deity. This is the first time I haven't been able to actually read the book and get to him, but I think it's because I'm already, you know, sworn to another Daedra. That might be a problem. Anyway, so that is where you get Hermaeus Mora. It's always worked for me on a basic, if I use him as my first deity, it's always worked. I don't know why it's not working now. But he's one of my favorites. Highly recommend him, especially at the start of your playthrough when you're trying to get as much perks and buffs as possible. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this showcase so far. We got through like maybe 1/3 of all the deities in Wintersun. There's like 50 of them. So let me know in the comments below if you want to see a deep dive, because I could technically start a character with each deity and then level them up to devoted. And I will do that if you guys ask, because it would take a lot of time and I want to make sure it's something that you guys actually want to see live. But if I were to do a deep dive, I would pick the optimal race and build type for each deity and then just go down them one at a time. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this showcase so far. Feel free to like the video, subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite deity so far was. Auriel is a lot of fun because it enhances your skill learning and just power levels your character. Zenithar is fantastic for crafting, especially when you're at early level and every few percent counts, especially for enchanting your gear. Highly recommend that as well. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.